All right, okay, welcome there. This is Kim Willis again, and I have another session for you. This is lesson 4 or session 4, and this one is a crackerjack. Well, I think it is anyway. I hope you feel the same way. And this one is called One Conversion Strategy. One Conversion Strategy. Yesterday's was one lead generation strategy, wasn't it? So we were talking about lead generation and all the rest of it. But now we're moving more and more into the sales side of things, and that's primarily what this lesson will be about. So let's get started without any further ado. And I share the screen here. Okay, there we go. Ba-da-ba-da. There it is. Pick the one, pick the page I want to share. Okay, there it is. Beautiful. Who said that I'm hopeless at technology? My goodness, I amaze myself sometimes. There's hope for me yet, and for all the other tech phobes out there. All right. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just minimize this little sub screen on the right. Bang. Shouldn't do it. What's going on here? Come on, boy. Come on. Come on. There it is. Done. Okay. One conversion strategy, rock and roll, baby. Now, before I start the lesson proper, I do a little bit of a preamble sometimes before the nuts and bolts session, because I think it's important, to be quite honest with you. We're not just working with the nuts and bolts, the how-to methods. We're also working with our own psychology, our mindset, focusing on some key issues that we need to sometimes address and sometimes take care of. If it's a problem, we need to take care of it. Okay. Now this is a little bit. This is quite interesting, based on some research that I've been doing recently. There's a lady called Gail Matthews, Dr. Gail Matthews, and she works with the Dominican University in California. And she conducted an extensive study on success patterns and their relationship to goal setting, okay, goal setting. And any of us who are in the entrepreneurial side of things, in the marketing side of things, on the marketing side of things, in the success industry, we're coaches, we're network marketers, whatever, we know how important it is to set goals. But here is what she found. People with written goals were 39.5% more likely to succeed if they were written down. Rather than just trying to retain them in your brain, if you write them down, you'll apparently, according to this, 39.5% more likely to succeed. But more than this, people who also sent progress reports. Yeah, people who also send progress reports to friends, mentors, people that they're accountable to, in other words, were 76.7% more likely to achieve their goals. That's incredible, isn't it? 76.7%. Far greater success ratio there, or success percentage, if you not only write your goals down, but you let other people know about them, and you do weekly or regular updates. You update the people or the person or whoever it is. Okay, so if you're working with an accountability partner on a just a semi, on a kind of a casual basis, could be that. You could be just keeping each other accountable. If you're working with more on a professional basis with a coach, a mentor, or something like that, that would definitely be part of it, no question about it. So just think about that. Food for thought. I've got some more. Yikes. Yeah, exactly. I've got some more. And this is a psychologist. And this is his name is Anders Ericsson, or K. Anders Ericsson. In 1993, he wrote, like a report or a thesis, the role of deliberate practice in the acquisition of expert performance. Now, that's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? But after it was published, he became sort of famous for this report. And I think the reason that he became famous, well, there are several reasons. One was because of the sheer professionalism of the work that he did to create this report. And because of that, he became kind of famous. He made a name for himself just because of this report. It was published in the Journal of the Psychological Review. Okay? So here are a couple of the key points. I'll have more about him tomorrow, all right? Because it's very interesting, the work that he's been doing. His article debunked the idea that elite performers, that is, experts in their chosen field, and it doesn't really matter whether they're creative types, artists, designers, musicians, sports people, people who are technically proficient in a particular area, expert marketers, copywriters, content creators, you name it. You name it. But they got there because of superior, so the myth that he wanted to debunk was that they got there because of superior intellect and or talent. Now, I don't think he was downgrading the role of intelligence and talent, but there are lots of talented nobodies out there, and there are lots of smart people out there who are broke. Okay, so there are reasons. Now, he postulates one reason, and this reason seems to make sense to me. He developed the 10,000-hour rule, and he said that to attain mastery, and therefore automatic expert status, you must complete 10,000 hours of deliberate practice in your chosen field. 10,000 hours. It's a lot. It's a lot. I was talking the other day about, I think it might have been on Monday, first night or Tuesday, very early in the challenge, and I was saying I started online marketing in 2006, and one of the big things that I had to do was to make calls to phone leads that were generated online. So if the leads were generated online, we phoned them offline using the telephone, ringing dingy one, ringing dingy two. And the mere thought of doing that filled me with dread, I can tell you. But then I think I gave you an idea about that in vivid technicolor detail. But I've made 10,000 calls since then. I've phoned 10,000 leads since then. And I was thinking about it today. I was thinking, would that add up to 10,000 hours? And my conclusion was that no. I haven't spent 10,000 hours on honing my skills as a result of talking to people on the telephone, or now we do more voice calls on, Messenger and all that. I don't think I've reached 10,000 yet. I think I'm pretty good on the damn phone. I think I'm pretty damn good on the phone, not just in terms of selling, but in terms of, just building relationships, friendshiping, cultivating people. They're very important things to me as well. Very important. And but in terms of following up these leads, all of these 10,000 leads, I don't think I've spent 10,000 hours on the phone. That gives you an idea of how enormous the task is. Now, to put a fine point on it, if you set a goal of achieving mastery in 10 years, you need to commit to 3 hours a day of practice every day for 10 years. Every day. I think I feel another yikes coming on. Yikes! What do you think? Now, of course, if you want to shorten it, you want to do it in 5 years, well, it's going to have to be 6 hours a day. 6 hours a day. I gave the story about the guitar practice when I was playing the guitar during my, I was more interested in playing the guitar when I was a teenager than I was going to school. So I'd use any excuse to take a day off school. My mother would let me. And of course, as long as I wasn't dead, very sick with the flu or something like that, I'd be playing the guitar. But most days I was only practicing 2 hours a day when I was going to school. On the weekends I'd practice more. Practice, practice, practice. A lot of people don't realize how important it is to practice your craft, to practice whatever field of human endeavor you choose to align yourself with. But during the school vacation time, I always look forward to that for more reasons than one. And the main one was, hey, I can practice more. That was my mindset. That was my attitude, right? So Christmas holidays was fantastic because in Australia, they get 6 weeks. 6 weeks, yeah. And because it's sunny, it's warm, you can go to the beach and all that, it's fantastic. Not like my American friends where it's freezing cold and you don't have long holiday period during the Christmas season, the festive season. But it's 6 weeks. So that's 6 weeks of more practice for me. That's the way I looked at it. So I didn't even know about this guy, and certainly I was doing it before this guy, Anders, wrote this report. But it was just instinctive for me that the more practice that I did, the better I was going to be. So during vacation time, I upped it to 4 hours a day and 5 hours a day. And in fact, there were several days, many days over that 6 week period when I was practicing for 5, 6, and sometimes 7 hours a day. Imagine how my fingers felt at the end of 7 hours. Of course, I took some breaks along the way, food breaks and all of that, but I can tell you my hand was just throbbing, right? And I built up calluses on my fingers because that's what happens when you play an instrument like that. You play it a lot. But now I don't have the calluses because my beautiful guitar is sitting over there and I look at it every day. I can't do it because I've got a little bit of arthritis in particularly in my left hand. So I just can't do it. It breaks my heart, and I wish there was a way around it. Maybe one of Penny's miracle products might help. But look, just think about that, folks. Think about these issues. I know it's natural for us to be always looking for panaceas and quick ways to get to get to a result, and certainly this challenge is no different. I'm offering you some quick ways to get a sale or 2 or 3. Okay. I'm not saying that what you're learning during this challenge is going to transform your life. No, it's just one little stepping stone. That's all. One little stepping stone. It's not going to transform your life. It's not going to give you the wherewithal to create a life-changing business. No. All I've said was that these strategies can help you generate leads quite quickly. And if you implement what I'm telling you, subject to certain caveats, you can help you generate some sales quite quickly. But making a few sales does not a business build. That was a bit convoluted, wasn't it? Or does not a business make, whatever. You know what I mean? There's a world of difference. So over the next, between now and tomorrow, tomorrow's lesson, including tomorrow's lesson, I want you to start thinking about the bigger picture here. Making a few sales here and there, okay. It's good, but it's not the main game. The main game is to create a life-enhancing business that will serve your needs for the rest of your life. That's the main game. Yeah. So just understanding that this 10,000 rule, now I'm not saying that you have to do 10,000 hours before you start getting spectacular results, because clearly that is not right. That's not true. For me, I didn't do 10,000 hours to make my first million as an affiliate marketer. I hadn't done 10,000 hours on the phone. I would have done more than 10,000 hours in total in all the different marketing activities I was involved with, including content creation, more than 10,000 hours for all of that. But segment it, no, I haven't done 10,000 hours since 2006 on any of these one areas. I don't think I have. But I've done thousands of hours on each of them, right? And the problem is that most people who go through a challenge process like this, they haven't even done 500 hours on any one of the segments and any one of the key areas that make your business fly. They haven't even done 500 hours. Some haven't even done 100. And that's, well, I hate to say it, it's shameful. It's shameful. There's no excuse, guys. A bit of tough love every now and again. Look, most of the time I'm a very nice guy, but yeah, ask my sons. But sometimes we just have to call it as we see it. So now here's a lady that talk about speed demon. I've worked with a few of them. I have. I've trained quite a number of them last year, and you know, here's one of them, and she made some quick sales. But I don't want to feature somebody like this to belittle people. I don't want to do that, because she brought certain attributes to the table, and so I make allowances for that. If I'm working with someone, I look at what they've done before and say, okay, well, let's tailor a plan that might work for you based on your situation. Now, she came from a sales background. Okay, so let's be clear about that. But she hadn't made any money on Facebook using free strategies. So that's what I gave her. I gave her that. And I gave her personal help, and I helped her create content. We wrote some posts for her and did some things like that. But look, the point of the matter is that once she made the commitment to kick some butt, I'm starting now. And I guarantee you, I'll have some action within the next 2 to 3 days. And lo and behold, she got some action, and she got 8 customers. 8 customers. Basically using what I've been showing you with some, I gave her some personalization, customization and stuff like that. But in essence, she had the fire in the belly to make it happen. And it helped that she had something that she believed in. She had a product that she could promote. It was a $100 product, okay? Like a front-end product. There was some upsells and stuff like that. She made some money from the upsells as well. But the primary thing was just under $100, okay? And so she made 9 sales, and then she didn't leave it there. She went on and made some more sales. Now, I can tell you that she's no longer doing affiliate marketing, because this was last year, right? She's no longer doing affiliate marketing. She accepted an offer to work for a company with a very exciting technology. In fact, she talked to me about it and wanted me to perhaps kind of partner with her on this project. And it's a company that's based in Utah, and they've got a very exciting piece of technology, and their goal was to market it to businesses all over the US and all over North America, really. And so she is, as I understand it, she is spearheading that project. And I can't help but think that some of what she learned last year with me and with our tribe builder community gave her something that she didn't have before. It gave her something. She learned how to communicate properly online. She learned how to do that. And she learned a bunch of other things. She learned how to improve the way she communicates with people using the written word and so on. But that's it. But there's another little story there. Okay. Now, steps to success. 1 conversion strategy. Make a list of prospects from your warm list and from your lead generation posts. Now, the last lesson was saying start making your list, okay? Or was it the one before? Whatever. It was the one before, lesson 3. All right, so I know that we've got some people sort of coming in late. They're watching the live one. They've joined the challenge, or they weren't able to start the challenge earlier or something like that. That's okay. Watch it. Give priority to the live session that you can attend, and then you can always catch up with previous sessions by watching the replays. No problem at all. Okay, so make a list of prospects. So we said, look, you've probably got some warm people in your Facebook friends list who'll be good candidates for your product or service. You probably got that right now. So that's your warm list, right? So you make out your list of 10 people, 20 people, 30 people, or something like that. It doesn't have to be a huge list. I got started in 2006 with a small itty-bitty list of 25, and then I reached out to some of those people. The amazing thing is that I never spoke to all of them. I didn't, because after a few weeks, after 3.5 weeks, I was making money. The ads were starting to kick in. Other strategies were starting to kick in. Beautiful. But working with the warm market, didn't have Facebook back then, of course, but working with the warm market helped me get off to a fast start. That's why I'm telling you to do it. That's why I'm recommending this as a course of action. But of course, the bigger picture, and I'll talk more about this tomorrow when we sort of go global, right? The bigger picture, is to the macro picture versus the micro picture. You need both. You need a micro strategies, you need macro strategies. The bigger picture is to build your warm audience so that you've got a constant supply of candidates, of people that you can help in exchange for money. That's it, in exchange for dollars. Okay, so you've got a constant supply of these people. Building your warm audience. Now, we don't do warm, as someone said in the group last night, apparently, I haven't been able to answer her yet, but I've been told that she said, oh, well, when am I going to learn about growing my group, my Facebook group? Well, we can only, that's not what this challenge is about. This challenge is about working with your existing assets and leveraging those assets, and those assets come in the form of people that you can help. Okay, so we got you to write a little lead gen post or piece of content and then post it. And if the results are similar to what has happened before when I've done this little exercise with people who are doing a challenge, there will be a percentage of people, no doubt, who will have their first leads from this method. They'll have their first leads. There will be other people who found that the post didn't quite work for them. No problem. Don't beat yourself up. I won't beat yourself up because it's only the first one. Okay, so we have to finesse, practice. What did that doctor guy, that psychologist say? It's all about practice. My guitar thing, you know, during the school vacation period, 6, 7, 8 hours a day, right? Practice. I think people need to get away from all this short-termism. People often overestimate how much money and how much results they can get in the short term, but they completely and totally underestimate how much they can get in the long term. Okay, and they also deny themselves that the power of that wonderful principle called compounding interest. Compounding interest, because compounding interest works with time. So the more you do it, so you can compound your warm audience. You can compound it over time, month after month after month after month, and all the time you're practicing. You know something? Even though I've written a lot of content over the years for myself and for people that I'm helping, I'm still practicing. I'm still practicing to this day. I'm always practicing. I cannot help myself. And I'm always coming up with new content ideas, right? Every day I've got another content idea. I have so many freaking content ideas that there's no way I can find the time to write those pieces. There's no way, right? So back to tribe building and all of that, you've got to be constantly building your tribe. You've got to be constantly building your warm audience. So if I can help you get a few quick wins this week or next week, great. But it's not the main game. That's all I'm saying. But look, make a list of prospects, fantastic. Connect with prospects on Messenger, even better, because that's where the money is made, on Messenger. And then there's two options that you can use. One is to ask a question and wait for the answer, or you can make a pitch. I hate to use that word pitch because it has, in some quarters, it has negative connotations. And it almost offends people, some people who have, let's say, hang-ups about doing sales work. Okay, but look, I use the word because it's a simple word. It does have some meaning to it that we can work with. We can feel comfortable with it as long as we understand that the way I do a pitch is really just to find out. It's a sifting thing, right? It's just a sifting exercise. It's a sifting technique or tactic to find out whether, in fact, my stuff has an interest, stimulates an interest with my prospect. And if no problems at all. No problems at all. It's just a sifting technique, okay? So, and of course, if you do make a pitch, I would generally say no links. Sometimes I break that rule, but the vast majority of cases I don't. And always end with a question. So whichever way you do it, you just ping someone on Messenger and ask them a question without any other fluff or any other verbiage, fine. or you include the verbiage and then you still finish with a question. You always finish with a question. All right. This is my method, okay? If you've got another method, that's fine. But why don't you just play it my way for the next few weeks? Okay. Oh, I think I got the numbers wrong. No, that's right. Number 4, and yep, sequence is intact. Consider doing a voice call, solve a problem, offer your solution. If possible, do 3-way calls. Now, should you do, if you're a newbie, should you do voice calls? Well, look, if you're a coach, you want to do voice calls. You want appointments, don't you? You want booked calls. Okay, so I assume you have you've attained a reasonable degree of competence, perhaps not mastery, but a reasonable degree of competence. But you know what the game is. If you're a coach, you're going to offer, perhaps you're going to offer either a paid, go back to lesson 2, either a paid or a free consult, you know, a 30-minute consult, something like that. You're going to do that. So you should be ready for that and comfortable and confident in that role. Other people, okay, they don't, if you're selling a little product, like a health product or an info product, like my product, my basic product is called Try Build a Core, and that product, well, last year it was selling for $97 in the main. This year it's re-releasing it. I'm boosting it, and it's selling for a bit more, but it's still a bargain compared to anything else that's out there. And that's a front-end product. That's a front-end product. So if you've got a front-end information product, doesn't have to be mine. It could be some kind of course or software, or a physical product like a health product or essential oils or whatever it happens to be. You don't necessarily need to do a voice call to make an itty-bitty little sale, right? You don't necessarily need to do it. But if there's a bigger picture attached to that front-end product, there's a bigger picture. And if there isn't a bigger picture, I'll say, why isn't there? There should be something bigger there for you after they've bought that first product. You might think about doing a voice call anyway. But voice calls, I'll say this, that a lot of people struggle with voice calls. They do. And I guess it's a competence issue. And if you don't have competence, and you know you don't have the competence, you're not going to have the confidence, are you? They go hand in hand. You need both. You need both. So, and how do you get the competence so you can get the confidence? Well, you could say that I could say, well, you could focus on your 10,000 hours. You could do that. But if you're just doing the same old thing for 10,000 hours or even 1,000 hours, well, your progress is probably going to be fairly slow, and improvements are going to be somewhat incremental. Okay, so what I would say there is, well, you could do it that way, or you could do what smart people do and you get some help. That's it. But so it's up to you as to whether you do voice calls or not at this point. If you've got just small products as a front end to promote, you could just focus on the text-based messaging and get good at that. That's what I did when I started using this method with Facebook. It was text-based. I didn't do any voice calls for months. I didn't do any voice calls, but then I added voice calls to the suite because I just wanted to prove that it could be done just using text only, and that people would pay money without them hearing my voice, right? But then I started doing voice calls because people were asking me, can I help them with voice calls? And I said, okay, well, I'm not going to help you now. I want to do some voice calls myself using Facebook Messenger, even though I'd had all of that experience in years past, phoning leads, ring-a-ding one, and all the rest of it. So, and then once I started making sales, then I started helping people on that side as well. But the point of the matter is that the voice calls are more potent. That's what I would say. They are more potent. But initially, maybe just stick with the text-based and see how you go. Okay, and so consider doing video calls as well. That's the other thing. Video calls are even better from a relationship building point of view. Although I should say that I've done plenty of calls on Facebook, Skype, and Zoom without the camera turned on. And there have been plenty of times when I've said, I don't want to turn the camera on at this point. We can turn the camera on at the end, no problem. But I just want to focus on your voice. I just want to focus on you and your voice, and I don't want my concentration to waver. See, I'm big on listening, and I just want the voice. That's it. And I can hear because I'm focusing on one thing only. And I can hear every nuance in the voice, everything, right? Boy, it's powerful. So there you go. All right, now list. Let's just a little bit of something practical here on the list side of it. I would suggest that you set up a spreadsheet. You can do it with Excel spreadsheets or something like that. But what about Google Docs? It's a beautiful little piece of software, and this is what I use. And look at the headings there. This is for my cultivation list. All right, these are people that I'm cultivating, and yeah, some of the people who are in the challenge are on this list. I was going to say whited out their names, but I'm not showing the names, and it's a longer list than this, by the way, but it's a longer list, but I monitor it, okay? So I run in 10-week cycles, okay? I haven't done it for a week or so because I've been so busy, so I've had to let it drop, but basically what I do, I just cultivate people. I'm building relationships, so I'll comment on their content, do things like that. So, right, so I'll comment, I'll post a comment week 4, week 5, week 6, week 7. Now, I don't do it to everybody every single week either. Some people, I'll tell you one thing that this process has done for me. It's helped to make me acutely aware of cultivating people who are really active on Facebook. And as a result of checking their profile, sometimes I see that there's nothing happening from one week to the next. So there's nothing that I can comment on. So I just leave them. I just leave them for another week and see if they've posted something, right? But if a person isn't posting, if they're only posting a piece of content once every week or 2 weeks or something like that, it's highly unlikely that those people are going to see your content, okay? So one of the reasons why we do it, just to refresh on what we spoke about earlier in the week, one of the reasons is to just, you know, friendshiping, relationship building, doing that. That's the warm and fuzzy side. But there's also a more mercenary side which says that, hey, if I comment on this person's content, this person's content or their comment, but on their post essentially, on their post, on their personal profile, or even in groups or something like that, if I do that, or even their business page, if I do that, what I am hoping and looking for a boost from Facebook, the algorithm, will then put my content in front of more of my friends, okay? So there's a technical reason why we do it, as well as a strategic relationship building reason, okay? That's it. So I would say, you know, set up a spreadsheet, use headings like that, something like that, and then it'll help to keep you disciplined, right? Now, it doesn't mean to say that we're commenting on people's posts every day, on one person every day, no. It might be once or possibly twice a week. So I've got about 25 people, something like that, 25, 30 people on my list. So I'm not commenting on 30 people's posts each day. I couldn't possibly do that. So I'm commenting on about 5 people's posts a day, and that's doable. It's not onerous. It doesn't take a lot of time. Okay. All right, now connecting with prospects on Messenger. Oh, this is where the rubber hits the road, guys. This is where the rubber hits the road. Rock and roll, baby. Standard 8-step formula. So this is a catch-all for all sorts of different businesses, etc. I'm also going to give the coaches and the consultants and the experts a little bit of specialized strategy straight after this. So just hang in there. But this is standard. You could adapt it to just about any business category. So here we go. First up, this is from people. We're talking about the lead gen post. You found yourself a lead generation by searching. You found yourself a cheat sheet or a report on the topic that's congruent with your industry, and now you're promoting it. Even though it's not your report, you didn't do the work to create that report. You didn't do any of that. but now you're promoting it because you're a good person, you're a generous-minded person, and you're happy to share other people's stuff anyway. Believe me, it will rub off. A lot of benefit will flow to you just because you're being helpful, okay? But, of course, when you promote it, you don't give people the link or anything like that. You ask them to say yes or, you know, in the comments after you post on your profile in groups, etc., etc. Okay, so you reach out to them. If they've said, yes, I want that report, something like that, you just go to Messenger, you thank them, and you don't do that. The first thing you do is you reply to their yes comment in the comments box underneath your post, underneath their comment, right? So you let them know and you tag them and tell them you'll send them a PM, a personal message on Messenger. Then you open a conversation on Messenger and you say this: I see that you've requested information on blah, 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 whatever the name of your free, you know, your lead magnet was. I'm curious, what prompted your interest? Okay. Now, this is vitally important that you do it this way. The natural instinct for, shall we say, novice or newbie marketers or unsuccessful marketers, because some people aren't that new, they're still unsuccessful, is to just flick them the free report. Boom. Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense at all. And you think about it, why they do it. Well, maybe it's because they don't know any better. But if they've been through this process, they do know any better, so there's no excuse. But if they continue to do it, there can be only one reason: fear. They have a fear of engaging with people. They have a fear of being assertive in a nice way. So you've got to deal with some of these issues, if indeed there are issues. So you've got to ask a question. I'm not handing over my report until I find out why maybe they're a competitor. I want to find out why this person requested the report. I assume they're feeling some discomfort in this particular area that your report identifies, okay? So I'm curious what prompted your interest. After they reply, assuming they give you a half-intelligent answer, continue to maintain your curiosity and dig some more. Do it right, and they will open up and reveal their pain. Now, we cannot do, you know, full trainings on how to do this. This is a kind of a very important topic, but I'm just, if you're good at engaging with people, you'll probably find this to be quite easy. If you're not good at it, well, what can I say? Just practice, 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 I guess. Just, you know, the fine art of conversation. I wrote a blog post about it a couple of years ago. The gentle art. No, it was the fine art of gentle conversation. I think that was it. The fine art of gentle conversation. Okay? So we need to become better at conversation, become a good conversationalist, right? And some people are naturally gifted or, you know, competent in that area, other people not so. So if you're in the latter category, you need to work on that. You need to work on that. And if there's a degree of people fear involved, you got to work on that as well. Because you can't do marketing if you're scared of people. You can't be successful if you're scared of people. After the pain has been revealed, assuming, you know, everything goes according to plan, say this: how important is it for you to get this problem solved, John? Always use their name, you know, Mary, whatever, okay? And then you wait. Don't say anything more. Just wait. Oh, damn it. The follow through, I didn't stagger the last two bullet points. I hate that. Don't read ahead because it'll affect your concentration. Say this: great. Based on what you just told me, my video, this is one way of doing it. Look, there's a myriad of different ways. If you've got a video, let's say you've got a sales video. You've got a link for your sales page. It's a really good video. It's helpful, but it's also persuasive at the same time. Okay, well, why not promote that? Okay? Now, as I say, there are many ways to do this. I'm just giving you one of them. That's all. Based on what you just told me, John, my video called XYZ or Z could also be very helpful for you. It'll show you how to get blah, blah result without blah, blah pain point. But rather than give it to you now, I'll give you the report first. I'll give that to you now. Have a look at it, and I can give you the video at another time. I don't want to overload you. Is that okay? Is that fair enough? And then give him your report and say goodbye. That's it. That's it. So there's different ways of doing it. Sure, you could come on, you could hit them with a hammer and give them your sales page link as well. It's up to you. Just play with it, come up with different ways. But I'm just saying this is a softer approach and might be more comfortable for more people, okay? So you give them the free report first up to 2 stages, two-step process. You give them the free report, let them read that, and then the next day, assuming that they've told you that they're going to read it straight away, after you've given them your report, do a follow-up on Messenger. Just say something like, hey, John, what did you like most about the free report I sent you? Once again, we're not asking for a yes or no answer. We're asking for a positive answer. So you've got to ask the right questions. The beautiful thing is that you can type all this stuff up and have them on your little cheat file, and you just copy and paste into the Messenger box when the time is right. You don't have to type it up yourself. You don't have to think what to say. You just do it. Much easier than doing a voice call where you, oh, what do I say next? What do I say next? They ask you a question or something like that. So there you go. Okay. And then, okay, so that's a part A. Let's go back there. That's the part A follow-up. So follow-up after you've given them the free report, all right? Now we need to do part B. Now we need to give them part B. Great, I said I would give you, hang on. Okay, yeah, hi John. Okay, so this is not a separate follow-up message. This is still the same follow-up after you've given them the free report. So they've told you, they've read it, and they've given you, they said, these are the good, this is what I got out of it. I say, great, John. I said yesterday that I'd give you my video also, or as well. This video was produced by blah, blah, blah. This is the guy featured in the video, assuming you've got a good video with somebody talking. It makes sense. He's a great guy. Let me tell you a little bit about his story, assuming you know what his story is. Okay, so you build a little narrative within your conversation, and you only give them the 30-second version, by the way, not the 10-minute or the half-hour version. You don't want to be typing for the rest of your life. But you'd have all this typed up, but you don't want to make it long, right? It's got to be like maybe 1 to 3 sentences. That's about it. On this video, you'll gain valuable information about XYZ, whatever that problem is. You'll also have an offer for blah, blah, your product, okay? You'll see an offer there. You'll see that offer. Now, if you like it, my advice would be to move forward on it. You can say something else like, it's very affordable and I really think it'll solve your problem. Something like that. I'm just ad-libbing now, right? But something like that. And then you just finish off and say, and if I give you the video now, when will you watch it? You want a commitment, don't you? When will you watch it? Because if they say they're not going to watch it for a week, say, okay, John, well, I'll check back with you in a week and I'll give you the video then. You're not going to give it to them now, right? But if they say, oh, look, I'll watch it tonight. I'll watch it now as soon as we get off this messenger chat. Fine, great. Here's the link. Give them the link to your video sales page, the VSL. Do that. Okay. So, and then if they haven't already bought, sometimes if you set it up properly, and I've had this happen many times on Facebook and elsewhere, I set it up properly, I give them the link, and before I know it, I've received a notification that I've bought something. Okay. This is how I did it in those early months in 2016 when I properly and finally embraced Facebook. Without any voice calls, just text. All right, this is how I did it. Now, if they didn't buy the product within, say, a day or two, then I'd reach out to them again. So this is the second follow-up. You just say this, hey, John, did you watch the video? You said you'd watch the video, and what did you like about it? Or what did you like the most about it? You're asking the same sort of question. And look, if there's a problem, if they, I don't know, they didn't like the product or whatever, okay, deal with it. Deal with it. Didn't like the product idea, or sometimes I've had people say, look, I want to buy the product, or I got excited about it, but I'll need to wait for payday. It's going to be Thursday. In my mind, I've already allocated it. had people say things like that to me. See, so that's more or less it. And then, you know, after you've done a bit of this text thing, okay, then you can try some voice calls, as I say at the bottom there. All right, let's have a look at the versions. This is for coaches, consultants, people like that. Step 1 is the same. Step 2 is the same. Step 3, exactly the same. So let's go to step 4. This is where we can see a difference. If they open up and reveal their pain, if they don't, well, you got some choices. You got some choices. You can just give them the free report and be done with it. Or you can play hardball, say, John, you're not communicating with me in the way I would like. Maybe you're busy at the moment. We can talk later if you want, but hey, I'm here to help. And if you don't want to engage with me, that's fine. Let's leave it at that. That's playing a little bit hardball. Or, as I say, you could just give him the free report and just leave it with him and see what happens, and still do a follow-up a day or two later. Okay? But if they open up and reveal their pain in this messenger chat that you're having with them, this is the follow-up. Sorry, let's go back here. Yep. No, this is on the first call, right? So we're not talking free report or anything here. This is just, it could involve a free report. It could be a lead from another source, but even if it's a lead from a free report, I'd be more inclined to be going deeper if I'm a coach, if I'm got my coach's hat on, okay? So if they open up and reveal their pain, okay, I can send them the free report, but I'm probably going to be looking more at, if I got my coach's hat on, as opposed to selling a little info product or something like that, I'm going to be saying something like, how important is it for you to get this problem solved, John? And if they come back with a real positive response, you can say, look, I may be able to help you with that. No promises, but would you be open to jumping on a call with me? I can give you the little free report in the meantime, no problem at all. But I don't think, I haven't put this in the text here, but I don't think it's going to give you enough of what you need right now. See, so you always put it in the person's interest, okay? I'm happy to give you the free report. I'll send you an email, but I don't think the free report, the free report is more of a general, it just gives you some initial ideas. But based on what you've been saying, I think you need something a little deeper. So that's why I'm saying let's get on a call, and I'd like to hear your voice anyway. And by the way, sometimes it's another thing you can add in. By the way, sometimes I get sick of typing, and it'd be great just to talk with you. So you say some things like that in the text box, and sometimes you book in an appointment. Other times, ways I've done it in the past, I'll say, look, I've got a bit of time free now. I've got half an hour. You okay now? You want to go on a call now? We can do it right now. I think you'll find it very helpful. Okay? So if you're a coach, it'd be a little bit different to the other example. Now, if you don't feel that it's appropriate to do it on the first, communication that you've had with that person, no problem. You can do it at another time. But this is more or less the way I suggest you would do it. And like I said, there will be plenty of variations, but this is kind of cool. All right. Asking that key question there: how important is it for you to get this problem solved? All right. That's it. All right. And don't forget, got questions? Fire away. Type them in there, and I'll be back in the room very soon. Now, here is an example. This is just one of many that I can show you, but this is just a simple example. This was last year, in January of last year. All right. And I just reached out to a few people that I've been cultivating, and I just said, I reached out to them on Messenger, and I asked the question, what sort of a year are you expecting, Mary? Okay, so that's it. There it is there. Hey, Mary, what sort of a year are you expecting in 2018? Mary says, hey, Kim, hopefully a more productive one. Yeah. What will you do differently this year? I need to pick a path and stay on it. I say, Another 12 months has elapsed without a change in direction. The next 12 months will probably be the same as the last. That's a little bit tough, and I could have softened it, but I already had some prior conversations with this lady, and I felt it would work in this context. This is where sensitivity is important, because it enables us to finesse a message, and we sort of we become clearer about, you know, how far we can go with somebody. So I decided to do it. I was slightly apprehensive, but I did it anyway, and here's what the response was. She says, "You're right." See, she wanted a little bit of tough love. She wanted it. And she asked me now. She's closing me. What now? I then gave her a link to my sales page. 20 minutes later, she'd completed the purchase. So sometimes in a conversation, it could just be a single sentence or a small paragraph of text. See, with that statement that I made, I didn't even finish with a question. I broke my own rule because I didn't think the question would be appropriate. I decided not to include a question. I just wanted that content to sit there so she could digest it and see if that was good enough to provoke a response. And it did. Okay, ask one question. Okay, we talked about that a few slides ago. Here's a few ideas for you. Free report pitch. It's great to see that you requested my free report, John. I'm curious what prompted your interest. We already saw that one, okay? Here's another one. Pitch to hurting people in groups. This is where you're working in some groups, and you notice that there's a person who's new to the group, and they're asking questions, and they've obviously got a little bit of pain, and some people are helping them, but you could help them too as a comment. But the smarter thing to do is to reach out to them on Messenger. Hi, John, I don't mean to intrude, but I noticed that you said XYZ in the blah, blah group. Can I ask, has it been an issue for you for a long time? Finishing with a question, okay? Now, by the way, when you reach out to someone on Messenger, not everyone's going to reply. That's just the way it is. That's just not the way it is. But you can increase your odds of success by doing a follow-up a day or two later. So I use all sorts of different techniques. I have some hilarious techniques that I use. But one of them, just the very simple one, is just ping, P-I-N-G, exclamation mark, something like that. It's amazing how many people will then say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I got busy, blah, blah," right? So you need to do that. You need to do that. Otherwise, you're not going to be maximizing your potential. All right, so there's that one. Conversations with purpose, open right. Okay. Hi, John. Once again, on Messenger. We've been friends for a while now, and I realize this is the Facebook group kind of pitch. And I realize that I haven't asked you to join my newish, in brackets, newish group, or if it's a new group, just say my new group. Or if it's an old group, okay, fine. Just leave out the word old. But it's about blah, 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 blah. We've got some good people in it already, including one guy who has, just use a story. If you've got a good person in there, a little story, okay? They've done something special. Name that special thing. They've had some success. You could learn from this person, etc. So I thought it would be a perfect fit for you. Good for us too, because I respect you and I know your input would be valued. A good place for networking too. Can I give you the link to join? See? That kind of thing will work. If you're putting that kind of content in front of the right people on Messenger, providing you've got you've got some kind of relationship with those people, that would be ideal, that works. Or variations of it. There you go. Yeah, we already know about that. Okay, so that's basically it. We're doing a bit of work in a formal way today, and we can do a little bit more work in an informal sense in the group over the next week, okay? And then we'll finish off. So here is my homework for you, your assignments. Keep building your prospect list. So keep doing that. Add another 10. Connect with 5 to 10 prospects on Messenger over the next day or two. And give it a try. See if you can make a sale. I don't have the weight of, I'm not placing the weight of expectations on your shoulders, so don't think that you should be placing it on your shoulder either. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that you'll find an opportunity to make a sale. You may not make 8 like Katie did in was it 4 days? But look, small fish are sweet, and maybe you can make one sale over, over the next 7 days, or one sale by Sunday. If you get into action, you've got to get into action. You can't just keep sucking your thumb and say, oh, this is all very interesting and blah, blah, blah. It's, and then you use the great cop-out, which is, oh, I'm so overloaded. Okay, as I said, I think it was on day 2, the reason why, or one of the key reasons why people are overloaded is because they're not implementing in a fulsome and aggressive way. They're studying too much and they're implementing too little. The more implementation you do, the less confusion you have. Student spotlight, I wish I could, spotlight more, but anyway, you may have seen this guy. In fact, I was talking to Penny before we started tonight, and she was asking about Peter, or talking about Peter as well. Now, Peter is I would call him an A-class marketer, all right? An A-class marketer. Yet, like all marketers, we go through rough patches and we have some difficult periods at times. And Peter was seeing the results that I was getting on Facebook just using these free strategies. So we started talking, and then I gave him some mentoring support for a period of time, not a long period of time, because Peter's a very fast learner. So he didn't need a lot, okay? But he did get the support, and because as I recall, this is in 2016. So it's 3 years ago. As I recall, he couldn't figure out how to get leads and make sales using the Facebook platform. He was making sales. He had a blog, YouTube channel, and things like that. He was getting some action with some of those strategies, but Facebook eluded him. So, he started implementing it, and within a few weeks, it didn't happen within a couple of days, not like Katie, but within a few weeks, he made some sales, and he's been making them ever since. And he's built quite a following. He gets more people on his Facebook Lives than I do, all right? So sometimes I still scratch my head. What am I doing, right? Okay, so he's doing more of them, okay? But I take my hat off to him because he's a fantastic community builder. He's great at building the warm audience. So Peter, one of my absolute best students. There you go. Now, I mentioned the business expansion call. Yes, there are 6 spots left now. So if you want to get onto that, I'm not going to labor the point. You either get it or you don't. whoiskimwillis.com, whoiskimwillis.com. And that's the end of it. And tomorrow, the penultimate session, one simple plan. This is where we bring it all together, folks. Oh, and I should call it 2 simple plans. I'm going to have 2 plans. I'm going to have the super simple plan, and that's for the people, that's the incremental plan, people who are incremental thinkers and they just like little improvements here and there. But then I'm going to have the quantum leap plan, right? And that's the plan that's my plan, right? The quantum leap plan. But you're gonna see both of them tomorrow. All right. Let me get out of this PowerPoint, go back into the room, open it up, unmute, all of that, and stop the share. Let me unmute. Oh, if it gets too noisy, I'll do something about that. Okay, are there any questions, or does anybody want to say something?
This isn't really a question, but it was just like sort of an aha moment, really. It was more like I definitely don't connect with people on Messenger as much, or, enough. And also like in groups and things, like you said, if someone comments, message them on Messenger. And I'll kind of talk to them through the comments, but don't really take it off into Messenger. So I need to do that more. And also, I think it was from your previous video I was watching tonight, you said about adding them as a friend as well, the people in your group, which I haven't been doing. So that was a real good point. I need to start as well.
Yeah, well, that's great to hear that, Lisa. Yes, this is as we probably instinctively know, it's more about business is more about relationships than anything else. Even if we're not in a warm-hearted profession like coaching and life coaching, etc. Even if we're in a industry that's fairly hard-nosed, like selling used cars or something like that, right?
Yeah.
It's still going to come down to the relationships, the relationship between the intending customer and the salesman or the person that they meet on the car lot. So it's always going to come, and people will buy off people that they like. And
that's right.
Yeah, and it'd be just thinking in the context of the car world. Have I bought cars in the past from people that I didn't like? Maybe I have, maybe a long time ago, but when I was buying Lexus and cars like that, even going back to my Porsche days, I usually hit it off with the salesman. If I didn't hit it off with them, hey, I'll go to another car yard. If I just didn't click with that guy.
Or if they're too pushy.
Yeah, or something like that. They've got to connect with me in a real way that is authentic, in an authentic way. And if they're obnoxious and overly salesy, I don't mind them pushing the agenda a little bit. I don't mind that. I don't mind them taking a leadership role, because buyers sometimes need to be led. And that's another aha moment that some people need to have. Buyers need to be led sometimes. And someone's going to lead. It's either the prospect or the marketer. Who's going to do the leading? Is it going to be you or them? You've got to come to these. We've got to sometimes come to these realizations. But if they do it in an overly aggressive way, if they don't have the slightest interest in me and my welfare, if they're not asking me some questions that indicates their interest in my needs,
yeah,
I'm not going to be a happy chappy. But if I go to another car yard that's got Porsche motor cars or whatever it happens to be, and I click with that guy, I feel the energy, there's a good vibe there, and he takes a real interest in me. He's concerned about me, and he asks me questions about what type of car, what type of Porsche, why do I like a Porsche, what model do I want, all of that kind of thing. And the rapport is there. I'm probably going to do business with him as long as he's got a good deal for me.